Hello everyone, welcome back to Making Art with Mrs. Gordon. Today we're going to be making a fish swimming in its fish bowl. So let's dive in. First thing you'll need is a clean sheet of paper. You can use a regular white sheet of paper or you can use notebook paper. You'll also need a pencil, as you see there, and you'll also need some type of coloring utensil. You can use crayons, color pencils, or marker, whatever you may have. Today I'll be using crayons, and I'm also going to be using this Sharpie marker just to do some outlining so my fish in my fish bowl really stands out. So this project is really great for younger age elementary students. So if you have a child who is preschool through maybe 3rd or 4th grade, this is a great lesson for them. It's really simple and it's really fun. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our fish bowl. So obviously we know fish don't live usually in fish bowls. They're found in lakes and they're found in seas and oceans. But when we want to take them home, they have to live somewhere, right? So when we take them home, we usually have them in a tank, or if we only have one fish, sometimes we only have a small fish bowl. Fish bowls are sometimes they come very round, but they usually have a very rounded shape on the edge and an open top. First step is we're going to create an oval at the very top of our paper. Our oval is not going to go up and down. It's not going to be long. It's actually going to be wide. So we want to go from right to left and then come back. So make sure you use your pencil, and if you make a mistake, just go ahead and erase. No big deal. So I'm going to start from the right side of my paper. I'm going to start my oval. I'm going to go around, and then I'm going to come back. All right, so it's not perfect, but that's okay. All that matters is that you can see your oval, and then you can go back and make any corrections on any edges that are not quite the way you expected or quite the way you wanted them to be. So I'm just going to erase those sides just to clean it up a bit. Once your oval is the way you want it to be, the next step is to create the actual fish tank itself, or the fish bowl. Instead of making straight lines, because fish bowls are round, we're going to make a curved line to the left and a curved line to the right. But before we do that, we do want to make the base. The base is the bottom. The bottom of the fish bowl has to be flat in order for it to be able to sit on a surface. So at the very bottom, or close to the bottom of the paper, you want to draw a straight line across. Now if you notice, my straight line doesn't go across the page. It's pretty much in the middle of the paper, and it's a horizontal line, so it's going left to right instead of up and down. So when you create your line, again, don't make it to the edge of the paper. Try to keep it in the middle of the paper, but close to the bottom of the page. Once you have that, you're going to go to the top where you made your oval, and from the corner, you're going to draw a curved line, and you're going to connect it to that line, that base that we drew. So starting at my oval at the top, I'm going to draw a curved line. I'm going to connect it to the bottom. Okay? And then on the opposite side, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Now that one didn't turn out too great, so I'm going to try that one more time. And again, it's okay if you make mistakes. So I'm going to try that one more time. So I went ahead and had to make a few corrections because I was having a lot of trouble creating my fish bowl. So again, if you make any mistakes, please be aware I also have made many mistakes, and I have to erase a lot too. So now that my fish bowl is done, my next step is to start drawing my fish in its environment. So I'm going to put my fish in first, and then we can add details that we will want to have in our fish bowl if we really had a fish. So the first step is I'm going to actually draw an oval for the fish's body. So my oval, again, I'm not going to make it tall. I'm going to try to make it wide, but not as thin as our top is. I'm going to try to make our fish a little chunky, for lack of a better word. And my fish, I want him pretty much in the middle. So I'm going to do some sketching. And I'm going to draw my fishy. Now he's going to be in the middle once I add his tail and everything. But his body, I'm not going to put that right in the middle. So it's not really a circle, it's almost an oval, but it's a little round. Your fish can be as large or as small as you want, or as round or ovalish as you like. It's totally up to you what you want to do. After that, I'm going to add in my tail. And my tail, I'm going to make it almost like a leaf. Have you ever seen a leaf outside? They usually come to a point. Your tail doesn't have to be like that. You have the option. Let me just show you some different options. If you drew your fish, you have your fish's body here. I'm going to draw 3 examples just so you can see really fast. Sorry if the ovals aren't perfect. First example you could do, you can do a regular tail where you just kind of do a curved line at the top, one at the bottom, and then your fish's tail is straight like that. You could do this where your fish's tail is maybe wavy or zigzag. You could even do diagonal lines and then the tail straight. There's so many options for you, so you really have so many choices. You can do it this way, one of these options, or you can just do the option that I did. It's whatever you prefer. After that, fish need to be able to swim, so not only does their tail serve as a swimming a way to swim, but they also need fins to be able to move through the water. So I want to add a fin on the side of the fish's body, and I think I want to do it the same shape as I did the tail. So I'm going to curve up, curve down, and then connect. Okay, and then for the fins, they go at the top and at the bottom. I'm going to make them a little different. So I'm actually going to do a curve line this way, curve line that way. Then I'm going to connect them. And the same thing for the top, curve line that way. Basically the direction that the fish would be going in, that's what direction their fin is pointing. Okay. And then my next step, I'm going to make the fish's eye. And I really want to make the eye kind of cute. So I think I'm going to make it large, like very cartoony, and maybe even give my fish some eyelashes. So first I'm going to draw a big circle. Okay. Now that I have my circle, I'm going to use half of that as the fish's eye. A little bit more than half. And then the little highlight for the fish's eye. Might move that over a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to give my fish some lips. Oh, he has some big lips. I think I'm going to correct that. So a little curve here and one at the bottom. I think that's better. And then I do want to add some eyelashes. So my fishy will have some lashes. And your fish doesn't have to. It's totally up to you. And I might adjust the eye a little bit more later. But for right now, I think I'm going to leave it as is. If I adjust it, you'll see it on camera later on. So now that I have my fish in place, I do want to have some other details in the tank. So things like maybe sand, pebbles, or seaweed. I think I want to do pebbles at the bottom of the tank because I really want it to be very colorful. So pebbles are usually round and they're all bunched and stacked together. So to make that look, I'm going to draw, hope you can see this. I'm going to draw curved line and attach it to the bottom of the tank, and then another, and I attached it to that pebble and to the bottom of the tank, and I'm just going to keep overlapping them and making sure they all touch, and I'm going to keep building up until I have the bottom of my tank filled with these curved lines to make it seem like there's pebbles, but there's so many that they're kind of stacked and overlapping. So I'm going to do that really quick, and then we'll go to the next step. So now I have my pebbles, and the next step, I think I want to add some seaweed to my actual picture. So I'm going to put some seaweed floating inside of the tank. Now first, to draw my seaweed, I'm going to draw a wavy line, a really loose wavy line, starting from the pebbles, and I'm going to go up. And I don't want to touch my fish, so I'm going to put it on the side of my fish. Then after that, I'm going to add the leaves, and it's pretty much the same shape as the tail or the fin. So I'm going to add these leaves, and I'm going to point them in all different types of directions, because in the water, the seaweed floats, so each petal or the leaves on the seaweed are moving because of the movement in the water. You can add as many as you like. I think I'm going to add a few more. Okay. And I think I'm going to add one more in the back just to make it even. But I'm going to make this one a little shorter. Okay, so now I have my fish. I have my fish bowl and my seaweed and my pebbles. Now my fish bowl should be sitting on some type of surface. So my last step is just to put the table or the surface that it's sitting on. And that's really simple. We're just going to draw a straight line across the paper. I'm going to use a ruler. You don't have to. It's not necessary for it to be perfect. But just to make it easy for me, I'm just going to use a ruler for it. And that straight line shouldn't start at the bottom of the fish bowl. It should start a little further up. So I'm going to actually start right underneath my fish. And I'm not going to draw in the fish bowl. I'm going to draw outside of it. So right here and right there. And so you see my lines are on the outside of the fish bowl. They're not inside. So when you draw yours, please make sure you draw on the outside of your fish bowl. Okay. So now that I have that in, this is pretty much everything. I'm going to quickly go ahead and add, just trace over everything in marker, and then I'll come back. All right, so I went ahead and traced everything. I didn't show you that part because it wasn't necessary. So if you notice, I went ahead and colored in the eye. It looks a lot better colored in. So now I have everything that I want on my page before I begin coloring. Now it's time to choose colors. So first thing I think I'm going to choose, I have all these colors to choose from. So I'm going to bring them into view so you can see what I have. So I have these two blues. It's the same blue, just in case I run out or one breaks. But I'm going to use this for the water. And that's one thing we did not do is a water line. So I wanted to do that really quick on camera. So a water line, I'm just going to do a wavy line across the top of the water because in my head, the fish is never really sitting still. So a light wavy line, the top of the tank. And then I did that with my pencil, and then I'll just trace that with my marker. If you feel confident that you don't need to do the pencil and you can just trace, I didn't follow the line exactly. If you feel confident just to go ahead and draw with the marker, you can. But now I have my wavy line, and I put that in to know exactly where my water is going to stop. So now that I have that in, I'll go ahead and pick colors. So I know I'm going to use blue for my water, so just put that to the side. I think I want my fish to be kind of colorful, so I think I'll make my fish, let's go for maybe a yellow for my fish, and maybe my fins can be like red and orange. Maybe I'll do some type of gradation. I'll show you how to do that. And then my pebbles, I think I'll go back and forth between this violet, this light violet, or this red violet, and this dark violet or purple. And then I'll use these greens for my seaweed. All right, and then we can figure out for the background what we want to do later. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm not going to talk through this. I'm just going to color so you can just watch and see what I do. So this is my finished drawing. I actually decided to leave the back or the background white because that would be the color of my wall, and I really didn't want it any other color. But please feel free, if you want to make your background a different color other than the white of the paper, you have all right to do that. I made my ground gray just so it wouldn't be as colorful. This way my tank would stand out, or my bowl would stand out the most. So this is my fish. You can make yours any color you want. Your pebbles, your fish, your seaweed, or whatever you add in yours. Be as creative as you would like. Now, before we finish up, before we sign off, we always want to make sure we sign our work to take credit for our beautiful designs. So again, just like I did in the last video, I'm actually going to use a crayon this time. A black crayon instead of a black marker. So I'm going to use black again, but just in a different medium. And I'm going to sign my name at the bottom right hand corner of the paper. So signing my name, Mrs. Gordon. And again, sign your work so you can take credit for your beautiful designs. And I want to thank you for making art with Mrs. Gordon.